Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 1032 for the 21st of December. We're going to go into the Kursk front first. At the Kursk front, we have new updates. The Kurylovka situation continued to devolve for the Ukrainians, with the Russian forces geolocated on the new tree line. Over this area here, confirming that the Russians have taken this area, which means that the entire field here can't possibly be listed under Ukrainian control anymore. And this also going to contribute to the continued attack on this potential tree line that might be under Ukrainian control, and the Russians could potentially also attack towards Viktorovka, which is currently happening. Fighting is reported in the region of Viktorovka and Nikolaevka. Nikolaevka is the first time that this is definitely 100% due to the capture of this area here. Which is why we have the first time that the Russians are attacking Nikolaevka region. So we need to zoom out a bit because this is to zoom in. So on the western flank, the Russian forces, let me see whether I can fit everything. Yeah. So the Russian forces are attacking Nikolaevka, Viktorovka, this capture already mentioned just now, in this area north of Leonidovo. Leonidovo is under attack. Alexandria, Lebedevka, Svetiklovo, as well as Nikolaevo Darino. Fighting reported at Darino previously was no longer mentioned, so this is the current situation over in the western flank of the Kursk front. Suddenly, there is no reports of fighting in the north. All we have is coming on the eastern flank, where the fighting is reported at Ruskoe Prashnoe, as well as Martinovka. And for those that did not catch it, I have done a battlefield analysis for the Kursk front. It's a very in-depth, very interesting, totally new series, totally new way of doing, and a totally new mapping. It's not this mapping, it's a different mapping, it's a much more simpler mapping. Hopefully will allow the people who are less familiar with DPA to be able to get into DPA's reporting. Over in the southern flank, I also mentioned quite a bit on this. But anyway, the fighting is now over in Chekatskaya Konopelka, Chekatskaya Konopelka, and Kurylovka. And in Kurylovka, the Russian forces confirmed to have entered into Kurylovka. They have been geolocated right in the center of the settlement. So they have been geolocated over here, which means that they have basically entered into the settlement. And yeah, it's unknown if the Ukrainians are still defending within this region here. According to the geolocation, they say that the Russians have taken new positions. They are shelled by the Ukrainian forces. So this is Kurylovka, and the Russians basically have returned to Kurylovka. The first settlement that Russians have entered on the western bank of the Svel River. So this is pretty significant, I would say, for the Russians in the reconquest of their own territory. So we move into the Kharkiv front, or Kharkiv front. At Kharkiv front, we have Russian forces attacking at Kosacha Lopan, Vistoha Varuha, Visoka Yaruha, and Voschansk. So these the three regions. Although it is still, I'm still waiting for this front to become a real front. Tentatively, this all seems to be pretty no, just fire attacks. It's not a real offensive. The Russians did not have any salient into the Ukrainian territory over in the Kosacha-Lopan sector. We move on. Over in the Vorechna front, the Russian forces have expanded their control into Vorechna. So, latest information, this is from today. This is the latest, just before I started recording. The Russian forces have been geolocated in the south of Vorechna, expanding their control in Vorechna. If the Russians capture Vorechna, I just want to say it's going to be one hell of a strategic collapse for the Ukrainians in this sector, because Vorechna is a massively strategically important city, and it will become a gateway for the Russians into the rest of Kharkiv. So fighting clearly is happening in Vorechna, and fighting was reported towards Zapadne, according to the Russian Defense Ministry as well. So the Russians are definitely, building something up from here. Maybe the next battlefield analysis I can talk a bit more, or maybe this is more strategic. Maybe we don't have to talk so detailed into this. I'll see what is next to do. We will definitely have to analyze this region, maybe in the conclusions. Maybe I have so many series, I don't even know, I don't even have enough time for it. So but yeah, let's do it in the conclusions. I should talk a bit more on this strategic situation over the Vorechna region. So Over the Kupiansk front, we only have Petropavlovka being mentioned, nothing else. We have over Kupiansk front went quiet because all the concentration of effort is now in Vorechna. So this is all the attention right now, and Petropavlovka is just a sideshow at this moment. So over in the Pischane front, at the Pischane front, just to say also, people who watches SITREP are the real Giga Chats. No, you are the real Giga Chats. Only the Giga Chats watches SITREP. No, the betas don't watch SITREP. No, they just want to watch something simpler only, like frontline changes, and maybe this new battlefield analysis. For the watery guys. The Giga Chats watch SITREP. But yeah, it is very, there's a lot of icons. It can be very overwhelming. But anyway, yeah, which is why you're the Giga Chats. Fighting reported at Kurylovka and Zarizove, as well as Lozova. However, the Russian Defense Ministry in 2 days, also just one of the latest situation report by the Russians. This is a 22nd report. By right, this shouldn't be in this SITREP, but this is the latest information. The Russian Ministry of Defense announced the capture of Lozova. So this is significant because definitely means that the frontline changes have moved. And the front lines have moved. And the Ukrainian source, the Ukrainian mapping Deep State UA, have not announced on their Telegram of any mapping change. And I believe that they might have changed the map, but I didn't see it. I haven't checked it yet. But they didn't update a post on that, which is very suspicious. Anyway, over in the Borova sector, as mentioned, Zeleny High was already mentioned, captured by the Russian Defense Ministry, now Lozova. So you can clearly see that, this area here is definitely going to look very different from our mapping in reality. And but the Ukrainian Defense Ministry still mentioned about fighting in the Zeleny High region. Of course, Lozova was mentioned, as well as Nadia. So that's all from Borova's front. We move further south. Over in the Svetove front, there's only Kurylovka, and that's about it. Over in the Liman front, or the Kremina front, Russian forces are attacking Ivanivka, Terny, Torske, as well as Dibrova. So that's the few. Strategically, this is a pretty usual thing. Nothing particularly special happening around here. We move on to the Sivers front. At the Sivers front, Russian forces are attacking at Bilohorevka, Volkonokamensky, as well as to Sivers, and that's all. Again, this is pretty regular. Nothing particularly special happening for this. And we move on. Over in the Bakhmut front, we have fighting reported at Zaliniansky, Orikovo, Vasilivka, Chasivya, and Stuposhki. In my opinion, this is again just another, just the regular harassment. It's nothing particularly, special. I don't think there's a beginning of any major offensive. As I mentioned, this is the Ukrainian war. All around Kramatorsk and Sloviansk. This is the war. So I don't think the Russians want to crash into the war like the Ukrainians do. There's no reason to crash into the war when you can actually just go around it. So over in the Toretsk front, Russian forces are fighting at Druzhba, Toretsk, and Skibinivka. That's all. Or Shibinivka. But nothing new being mentioned around here. Reporting on the Ukraine war seems to be also slowing down from the sources. Maybe things are getting boring for them also. I'm not sure. Over in Minokhrad, fighting is reported at Myrolyubivka as well as Lysivka. The Russian Defense Ministry mentioned fighting and then the capture of a place called Krasny. I cannot find this place, Krasny. It's supposed to be along the Pokrov or the Toretsk front. I have no freaking idea where it is. So if you guys have any idea, who knows better, do let me know where is Krasny. I can't find it. Or Krasnoye. I'm not sure. Krasny or Krasnoye. Yeah. It's mentioned by the Russian Defense Ministry. My personal gut feeling is actually referring to Zeleny. But because this is the only place that seems to be, like close to a Russian capture. But I have no freaking idea. I can't find it. I went through 2 other different maps, but I do not know where is it. So over in the Pokrov sector, we have fighting reported at the Chanske, Zeleny, Virozhenia, Shevchenko, towards Pokrov, Pischane, Novotoroysk as well as Novovasilivka. So this is definitely where a lot of action is happening as the Russians are maneuvering to find the right defensive posture or the right standoff positions that would protect them against Ukrainian counteroffensive. And I believe this line could be along the railway line around here. Wrong color. Around here could be very useful, and it allows them to do offensive into Pokrov when they are ready. Of course, the highway is continuing to be the main target as the Russians are now pushing Peshchane, although they didn't mention Voskove. A Leopard 2 was destroyed by FPV drone. This is also part of the reason why the Lancet is a bit more rare, because FPV drones are just doing the job. Lancers are probably going to go for further range targets, and maybe air defense systems in the further positions. Maybe I'm not sure. The Russians are definitely evolving their fighting tactics and techniques, and we are going to see a very, very different Russian military fighting style by next year as they continue to integrate drones, the FPV drones, the surveillance drones, and the high-tech expensive drones like the surveillance drones, the Olans, the Lancets, as they continue to evolve and improve incrementally. We're going to see a very different way of fighting and probably going to set the standards for the rest of the world to follow. So over in the rest of the Pokrov front, fighting is now being mentioned at Nadievka, which means the Russians are now pushing through the fields. And reports is fighting is reported also over at Novoalenivka. So that's all. That's the region here. Yeah. That's all. Moving over into the Kurylovka sector. Fighting is reported at Stary Terny, Dashne, as well as Kurylovka. The battle within the Kurylovka sector is now concentrating on this area here. I think the Russians are now concentrating in the capture of this sector on the western part of Kurylovka to collapse the entire city so that they can move on to the next chapter in this Battle of Donetsk Oblast. Over in Kurylovka, the Russians raised the flag in the Pivdeny micro-district in the high-rise zone in the south of Kurylovka. This confirmed invalidation of Ukrainian claims of presence in this sector. There's still a little bit left, but the Russians already claim this is under their control. It's unsure, and if they're still here, escaping this area will be a death trap. But let's see how this continues to play out. We move into the I can't even call this a Uspenivka front. Okay, let's call it the Uspenivka front still. So at the Uspenivka front, let's zoom out a bit. So we have the fighting at Kurylovka and Dashne. Fighting is reported in the region of Uspenivka. Russian Defense Ministry announced the capture of Konstantinopolsk, which they call it a different name. They call it Ostrovskogo. So, and then fighting is reported in the region, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Fighting is reported at Yatarny already, and that's all. Sukyali and Zelenivka was not mentioned, which I believe that both is now under firm Russian control, which means that the front line may actually looks a bit like this, maybe. So let's see how this continues to play out as there's not much settlements around here anymore, and any Ukrainians defending this line would feel a bit stupid because all the major attacks is coming along the other sides. Yeah, this feels like they're just waiting for a very slow motion car crash, but it's perfectly fine because this is a slow motion operation, like SMO, slow motion operation. Over into the Constantinople sector, which there's fighting reported moving in the direction of Constantinople as well as Rozliv. Nothing new regarding this. Over in the northern part of the Velika Novosilka sector, we have fighting reported towards Oradne. Maybe this should be part of the Constantinople sector, but yeah. So you have this. The Russians are definitely exploring new ways to cut the highway here. Here. Yeah. So let's see. Over in the Velika Novosilka sector itself, fighting is reported at Velika Novosilka, Plahodatne, Starozeve, as well as Novosilka. So That's all. No news of frontline changes. Everybody is just so distracted. Oh, maybe it's the weekend. Yeah, maybe it's the weekend. So people have life. Like who cares about the Ukrainian soldiers or the Russian soldiers fighting in the front line? Like party is more important. No, go drink, go drink. Yeah. Why are you watching? You have no life. Go touch grass. Go touch grass. Over in the Zaporizhia front. Oh freaking hell! I actually have no life also. Okay, over at the Zaporizhia front, fighting is reported at Novoandrievka and Petikaki. And there's shelling reported over at Stanikhurst, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. Petikaki and Novoandrievka was mentioned by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. They mentioned the Russians' attack in this sector. So let's see. And we move on to the Kherson front. At the Kherson front, there is no more fighting reported at Kazatsky Island nor in the Dnipro direction. Generally speaking, there's only Russian Defense Ministry shelling of Antonivka and Komishani. There's geolocation of Russian airstrike on alleged Ukrainian UAV controlled zone, control position, and that's all. They use a freaking airstrike, using a fat bomb to kill UAV crews. Based. And that's it. So anyway, that's all. We have nothing else for the day because I think it's the weekend, so the information is a bit weaker. Usually tomorrow or the day, usually tomorrow or the day after will be like, there will be a massive dump of information, usually for the Monday reports. So anyway, thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe, check out the battlefield analysis. Maybe you will love it, and I'll see you guys in the next update.